Okay, I have been living in the Philippines now for 8 months, and wanted to do a brief review of my experiences here since November of 2018. It is now July, almost August 2019. Um, it's really been an amazing adventure, but I was prepared for this. I've been coming here about every 18 months, maybe every 2 years since 2004. So I've got family here. I was married to an American who was from the Philippines, and her family kind of adopted me. She passed away in 2007, and her family just didn't release me. So I stayed a member of their family, and I kept coming back to the Philippines. So I got kind of, I guess the term is enmeshed in the family here, and I remarried in 2015. My wife and I spent 45 months in Texas and toured around pretty much the Midwest, but also California and Maryland. Um, but we decided to come back to the Philippines to raise our kids for a variety of reasons. And we moved here in November 2018, and we've been here for 8 months. So I was very well prepared for the culture here, very well prepared for the expenses. I retired in 2016 with the help of my wife. Filipinos are great with money, great with math, and she really helped me retire early. I'd probably still be working if it wasn't for her. So when we moved here, we had a good deal of savings. We had transferred to a bank account set up in my wife's sister's name. And we just transferred money directly into it using Zoom. And so we moved here, and we had a good deal of money here already. And so I'm trying to give you a brief rundown on the expenses, how we got set up. When we first came here, I prepaid 2 weeks in a hotel, the Picasso is what it's called, in Makati. I prepaid 2 weeks there. And as I said before, we have family we can stay with here, but I really didn't want to stay with the family. I wanted to have a place of our own, so I gave us 2 weeks, and I prepaid for it on Expedia, prepaid for our flight tickets. And we were traveling with young kids, so I flew from LA direct to Manila. It's a little bit expensive, but it's worth it. It's only, I think it was 13 hours. So the first 2 weeks we had here was free, okay, and give us time to search. And what we did was I got on Google Earth, and I'd already found these locations I wanted to look at. My wife's sister is an RN at a hospital in Cavite province, and so we started looking for subdivisions around that hospital. So we could live within a half-hour drive, maybe 15-minute drive, in bad weather. And we found a house that was 5 kilometers exactly. I've clocked it, I don't know how many times. 5 kilometers to the hospital from our house. So it's a very easy drive. It's 20,000 pesos a month for our house. I spent about maybe 100,000 pesos buying furniture, buying everything, lamps, fans, kitchen. I'm a baker, and my wife loves to cook, so we bought a lot of kitchen stuff. So you're gonna have to spend a couple $1,000 getting yourself set up here, buying stuff, sheets, curtains, lamps, fans. So we spent about 100,000 pesos buying stuff, and then I had $6,000, so I think it was 318,000 pesos that I had reserved for a car, and we found a car for 250,000 pesos, and it took about maybe 20 to 30,000 pesos. New tires, oil change, transmission oil change, getting a few repairs here and there, and the air conditioning system completely rebuilt. So we spent a couple of 20,000 pesos maybe. So we ended up under budget for that. So that was like 280,000 for a car. Um, so really, uh, just getting set up took about $5,000. Okay, that's $2,000 of household stuff, and including clothes, uh, and then $5,000 or $3,000 for a car, roughly. And then our monthly budget is 20,000 pesos for the house. We spend about maybe 5,000 pesos uh, for electricity, about $100 US for electricity every month. We spend maybe 2,000 pesos a month for cell phones. Our cell phones we use as hotspots for Wi-Fi for our laptops, tablets, and so forth. We just keep reloading load on the cell phones, and it works great. I've got Globe on my cell phone. My wife uses Smart. I prefer the Globe. My wife kind of envies me because the load that I put on the Globe phone lasts me all week, and I'm constantly using my phone to show our son, who's 3 years old, show him videos on YouTube, and the load works forever. So I'd say less than 10,000 pesos for the internet, 20,000 pesos for the house, 5,000 pesos for the utilities. So it's 30,000, 35,000 pesos for the house. Um, we spend about 10,000 pesos a month on groceries, about 2,500 a week. And then every week I end up taking out about 10,000 pesos for expenses, gasoline, uh, doctor's appointments. We give birth here. Giving birth here was 80,000 pesos, including 3 days in the hospital in a private room. So less than 100,000 pesos for an emergency hospital surgery. But our monthly expenses, I would say we keep it below 80,000 pesos a month, although we have stretched up to probably close to 100,000 pesos a month, monthly expenses. And that's our budget. Probably 1,600 to 1,800 US dollars a month. And there's 7 of us that live here. Okay, there's myself, my wife, our 2 kids. One's 3 years old, one's 6 months. And we have a housekeeper that's also a cook. That's just one of my wife's cousins that lives with us. She's amazing. Does all our laundry, cleans the house. My mother, my wife's mother, my mother-in-law, is living here with us. And then my wife's sister, who's an RN and is a very busy career woman that works, lives here. She's seldom here. So there's 7 of us that live here, and we've got one car. And our expenses every month is about 80,000 to 100,000 pesos a month. Now, living here for 7 months, there's a few surprises that I've run into. One is the difficulty in getting the internet. There's a company called PLDT that does the fiber optic cable internet for your house. And we applied with them, and they sent us an email confirming our application and giving us a reference number, and then we never heard back from them. And they came to our subdivision, and they had a little table set up at the gate at our subdivision. And so I went to that table and talked to the people there, and they had no way to access PLDT files. So they didn't know whether my reference number was good or not. I've never heard back from PLDT. So we just use cell phones. That's all we use, the hotspots for the cell phones, and load. And everything works great. So really no complaints about that, but PLDT kind of leaves me with my head scratching. Why wouldn't they contact us? They know that we're a potential customer. It's funny. Fast food here, if you go through a drive-through, it's really fast and really good. Burger King is really excellent. They've got a spam, egg, and cheese breakfast croissant that's really amazing. McDonald's had this shrimp burger during Lent. That was really good. The quality is really good, quality of food. I really don't do fast food a lot, but my kid loves it, of course. He's 3 years old. He loves McDonald's and Jollibee. And so every once in a while we do fast food. But if you do a drive-through, it's really fast. If you walk in and order it, it takes forever. That was a surprise. The cashier who takes your order is the one responsible for physically going around and getting your fries, getting your burger, getting everything, getting your drink. And so you order and you stand there in front of the register until your order's completed. And then once it's completed, you check it and then you walk away. And then the next person in line comes up. So it takes super long. If there's a line of 4 people or so, you could be standing there for a good 10 minutes before you get to order. And if there's a wait, everybody waits for your French fries or whatever it is. It was really shocking. But the priority is the drive-through, and the drive-through is really fast. So that was a real surprise for me. The quality of the food here is amazing. The fresh fish, the fresh fruit. If you like fish and you like fruit, you're going to love the Philippines. The fish market is incredible. Amazing. If you like beef and pork, I really eat very little beef and pork, but it's all there too. At the fish market is also the meat market. It's amazingly fresh. I mean, it's killed that morning, you can tell. Don't buy food at the supermarket. I don't shop at the supermarket at all, except for baby formula, diapers, things like that, Tupperware, water. We have a relative who does the reverse osmosis water, and it's a delivery system, so they deliver to your house whenever you need it. Gas is in those refillable bottles. They come and exchange the bottles with full bottles. You call a number, you text a guy, and he's right there, Johnny on the spot. He'll be there within 5 minutes of texting him. So when you text the guy to get your gas replaced, make sure you've got your pants on because he's going to be there. Customer service is amazing in the Philippines. You walk into a department store and there's 4 or 5 employees everywhere, it seems like. No matter where you turn, there's going to be 2 or 3 employees walking up to you trying to help you. It's amazing. At the gas stations, there are no self-service pumps. Everything is full service. 7-Eleven, there's employees everywhere, everywhere you go, except for the fast food places. Very, very slow. Sometimes at a really formal restaurant, you'll think that you're being discriminated against, that they're never going to come and take your order. Or once they take your order, they're just never going to come back. But they do. They come back. It just takes a long, long time. Everything is really inexpensive in the Philippines. It's really amazing. I just can't believe that 7 of us can live in this fantastic house in this amazing subdivision for under $2,000 a month, and get fresh fish, fresh food. My wife has a sister who owns a rice field, so several times a year she gets her crop harvested, and she goes to the mill and picks up her sack of rice that's fresh. And so she drops one off for us, and it's amazing. Fresh rice, fresh fish, fresh fruit, huge variety of fruit. It makes you really, really healthy, and you can see it, you can feel it. You go back to the U.S. and you're eating frozen food all the time, you're eating canned food, you're eating who knows what at fast food restaurants, and it makes you sick. It's difficult when I go back. The quality of food just collapses when you go back into the U.S. The medical care here is amazing. As I said, my wife had surgery and spent 3 days in the hospital. Uh, 80,000 pesos, $1,600 total. And we don't have insurance or anything. Um, and the quality of care was incredible. So medical care here is really amazing. If you've got just a little bit of money, it's really amazing. But some services, like as I said, the internet, fast food restaurants, sometimes things take a long time. And you have to be patient. Department stores is the exact opposite. There's several employees there at all times. If you buy jeans at a department store, you're going to get them custom fitted. They're gonna cut the pants and hem it, and you get to choose the design of the hem, and they're gonna do it right there on site. And it takes like 10 minutes to get your pants custom cut to fit you. I've never had jeans that fit me so well as here. Amazing. It's difficult finding a good mechanic, but once you do, it's beautiful. You know, you can take your car there and you don't need to worry about getting ripped off. I had the whole air conditioning system completely rebuilt for 18,000 pesos. What's that? $350. That would easily cost $600 in the U.S. At least 500. Gas is a little bit expensive. It's about $3.50 a gallon. But where are you going to go? You know, you're just going to go to the mall and back. Sometimes you go in, we drive into Manila to the U.S. Embassy to register the birth or something. It's going to take half an hour, maybe an hour. There's a church in Manila we like to go to. It takes about 45 minutes to get there. The airport, same thing, about 45 minutes, maybe an hour and 10 minutes if there's traffic. Uh, and that's about it. We've got family here in Cavite, and we've got family in Manila. We've got family in Batangas. We've got family in Mindanao. So we're doing pretty good here, and really difficult to think of things to complain about. About 10 days this year. It's now July 18, so more than half the year's gone by, 7 months. We've been here since November, so 8 months. I'd say about 10 days total. I've been really uncomfortably hot. We only have one window unit air conditioner, and I was talking this over with my wife, and I think 3 times, there's 3 different days this year that I've told my wife, I'm going to turn on the AC and I'm going to take a nap. I'm too hot. Okay, now flip that around, and I'd say about a month, about 30 days this year have been uncomfortably cold for me. And that is a lot colder than I thought it would be. So it's in the 60s, it's rainy, and it's breezy. And that's a little bit cold for me. You got to remember, I'm from Texas. If it gets below 65, I think 64 was my magic number when I was a firefighter. And I just can't run outside if it's below that temperature. I'll get chilled. I'll get chills and I'll get sick. And I'm in my 50s, and I've got to tell you that I know myself. I know that's the way my body is. My family kind of made fun of me about that, and in the year 2000, it might have been 1999, I went on a 4-mile run in Kansas City with my family, with 2 of my brothers and 1 of my sisters. And my sister ended up walking. She decided it was such a beautiful day she would just walk. And she had the car key. And the temperature was maybe 55, 58 degrees, and it was sunny, partly cloudy. But the thing is right at the finish line, there was a sprinkle of rain, like a drizzle. And my 2 brothers that lived there in Kansas City loved it. And I finished the run, was like, my body was like a jackhammer. I was just shaking uncontrollably. I was so cold. And I had to wait for maybe 20 minutes for my sister to show up with the car key. And we couldn't leave. And finally, we got the car key, and I went home, and my family was really alarmed with how cold I was, and I just got hypothermic. I got too cold. And I ended up getting bronchitis from that. I missed a couple of weeks of work. It took me a long time to recover from that. And after that, my family stopped teasing me about being paranoid about cold. I hate the cold. I always get sick from the cold. Since I moved to Texas in 1993 from Missouri. Graduated college in 1989. I worked in Missouri for 4 years, and it's just too cold for me in Missouri. So I moved to Texas, and I almost never got sick in Texas. Almost never. And so that's part of the reason why I moved to the Philippines after I retired in 2016. I wanted to move here to raise my kids. It's a really beautiful culture. It's a very traditional, religious Christian culture. And I wanted to raise my kids in that. That's the culture I was raised in. And that kind of culture is being chased away from the U.S. And so brought my kids here. I know the schools are excellent. I've known a lot of people that were U.S. citizens that went through Filipino schools that went back to the U.S. and just did great. So I know the Filipino colleges and high schools are really competitive. So, I came here with my eyes open. And I've really been happy living here. The only thing that shocked me, really, the only real shock that I've had is the weather. I really didn't expect Cavite to be cold. About 30 days out of the last 8 months, I've been uncomfortably cold here. And that really shocked me. About 10 days, I've been uncomfortably hot. But I like the hot weather. I really do. If it's 34, 35 Celsius, okay, maybe in the low 90s Fahrenheit, I'm comfortable. Once it gets above 100 in Fahrenheit, once it gets above, like approaching 40 in Celsius, I'm uncomfortable like anybody else, okay? But those have only been a few days that it's been that hot here. Where we're living in Cavite is a little bit towards Tagaytay. It's a little bit elevated. So I guess that's the reason. I don't understand it. I didn't expect it to be cold like this. I don't really like where we're living because it's cold like this, but my kids love it, and when you see your 3-year-old just smiling and happy and running all the time because the subdivision's half empty, there's no traffic, there's a lot of green, there's a lot of trees, there's a lot of birds, beautiful songbirds, bright yellow. Amazing. There's amazing colors and songs of the songbirds here. Very beautiful. But it's a little bit too cold for me. And I'm surprised about that. That's the only real shock that I've had. The internet is funny. It's a funny story about PLDT, but I can get around that. The cell phones work great. Globe is an amazing cell phone provider. I'm really happy with them. I spend about $300 a week on my load for Globe. And it seems to me that I get endless hours of YouTube for my kid to watch videos. Well, that's about it. 8 months is really beautiful here. 7 people, 2 kids, 1 3, 1 6 months, 5 adults, living in a house, 20,000 pesos a month. Water and electricity is about maybe 6,000 pesos a month. Gas, groceries, other expenses, about another 40,000 pesos a month, maybe 50 here and there. Birthday parties, doctor's appointments, somebody getting sick, things coming up, the car needs tires, you have to chuck in an extra 5,000-10,000 pesos for that month. So I'd say consistently we're living below 100,000 pesos a month. But we could easily make it on 80,000 pesos a month, which I'm really happy about. When I was getting ready to retire before I got married in 2015, I figured if I came to the Philippines as a single man, I could easily live on 40,000 pesos a month. So that was my budget, about maybe $1,000, $1,100 a month. And I think that that's still pretty true. I think that that's still accurate. You could really live here well on 40,000 pesos a month. maybe a little bit more, maybe 43,000, something like that. But we're doing good here. Plenty of extra money to take my son to Krispy Kreme to buy him some toys here and there, buy clothes, new shoes, etc. Doctor's appointment for the baby. Everything's good. 80,000 pesos a month. Very few complaints. Excellent quality food, excellent quality customer service. We've got a really good car. There's crickets chirping outside. We've got all the windows open. Really comfortable tonight. Life is good. Take care.